question for you. The officer says, does people versus Mimms apply to unlawful traffic stops as well? Hey guys, my name is Anthony Bandiero, attorney and senior legal instructor for Blue Gold Law Enforcement Training, bringing you under the roadside chat. This officer is from Texas. So it really doesn't give any context about what happened and so forth, but let's just kind of do some basics here and see what the answer is going to be. So what is Penn versus Mimms? This is a U.S. Supreme Court case that has held that when people are stopped for a traffic stop, the officer may order the driver out of the car as a matter of routine, okay? And why is that? Well, for the most part, it's de minimis, right? It's just a very low level of intrusion compared to the traffic stop itself. And along with de minimis, the court has held and talked about how that extra intrusion of, hey, having the person exit the vehicle, it doesn't really add much to the original intrusion, which is being stopped in the first place. In other words, I call the de minimis doctrine the spilled milk doctrine. There are some things that are so minor and so insignificant that the courts are not really receptive to you complaining about them, right? Being stopped for speeding and the cop saying, hey, driver, come on out, let me talk to you outside the car, is so minor, is so insignificant that are we really going to litigate this, in court? The answer is no. Now, Mimms applies to drivers and Maryland versus Wilson applies to passengers. Regardless of who's you're talking about, the answer is the same in the Fourth Amendment. Now, we also know that some states are more restrictive, like New Jersey, right? You need heightened caution for passengers in New Jersey. It's a low standard, probably lower than reasonable suspicion. You have a higher standard in Washington. You have a higher standard in places like, just in Alaska. There's no direct case on Alaska, but you want to be careful in Alaska because they have a very strong right of privacy. And since the passenger, for example, is not involved in the traffic stop, you want to be careful about, intruding on their privacy without some kind of justification. So maybe the courts would want something like New Jersey as far as heightened caution. The drivers are a different story. But the point is you want to be a little careful. Now, so does it apply to unlawful traffic stops? No, right? Because it's unlawful, right? It's not de minimis anymore. It's if the traffic stop is initially, unlawful, then everything after that is the fruit of poisonous trees, right? So I'm not sure. I guess let me just make up some facts here. Maybe that's what's going on here. So we make an unlawful traffic stop. The cop goes up to the car and says, hey, driver, come on out. I want to talk to you. And then as the driver gets out, the officer sees a gun in plain view. The gun is stolen or the driver is a felon. Is that gun coming in? Well, no, right? And it's not because of Pennsylvania versus Mimms. It's because of the exclusionary rule. We have the fruit of the poisonous tree, right? The officer made a bad traffic stop. And nothing is de minimis now, right? Because the original intrusion is not lawful. See, if you go back to Penn versus Mimms, they said if you have a lawful traffic stop, having them come out of the vehicle is de minimis. It doesn't add much to the intrusion. Well, here, it all adds to the intrusion, right? Because the intrusion was never authorized in the first place. So it's all going to be the fruit of the poisonous tree. And so you don't get, whether it's a pat down, or it's a, getting the person out of the vehicle, all these kind of things, it's going to be fruit of the poisonous tree unless you have something else that severs or breaks that illegal detention, which is for another day. There are ways to kind of fix this, but it's not easy. And without a doubt, it's not easy. There's your answer. If you have a bad stop, you have a bad Pennsylvania versus Mimms kind of situation, you should not necessarily be ordering people out of cars during an unlawful traffic stop. The best thing I can tell you to do is, if you realize the stop is bad, is to let these people go, and hopefully they do not complain about you and you learn your lesson to make sure you're legit in the first place, right? I hope you like this video. If it helps, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. And until next time, my friends, stay safe.